The spotlight cuts through the darkness, illuminating a lone figure standing on an empty stage. Tears trace silent paths down her cheeks as she clutches a worn leather pouch, a fragile token of the past she refuses to forget. "I thought the nightmare had ended the moment I walked away," she whispers, voice trembling but steady. But freedom wasn't just about leaving. It was about reclaiming myself from the shadows they buried me in. Behind her, memories bleed into the present. An isolated compound shrouded in dusk, murmurs of chants curling in the cold air, locked doors hiding secrets that clawed at her mind. She recalls faces that promised salvation but delivered chains, eyes that smiled yet held silent threats. They told me I belonged to them, that my purpose was to serve their vision. But my truth has always been my own, even if it took years to hear it again. A deep breath steadies her shaking hands as she gazes forward, the flicker of hope igniting beneath the scars. This is not just a story of escape. It is the birth of a new life, forged in pain and resilience, blossoming into a dream that now shines on red carpets and in the hands of those who once only watched from afar. After years trapped in silence, the first step into the outside world was terrifying and liberating all at once. Each breath tasted foreign, every street a labyrinth of overwhelming noise and light. Memories clung like shadows, reminders of a past that refused to loosen its grip. Yet beneath the fear was an unyielding spark, a quiet promise to herself that she would rebuild from the ashes. Strangers became unlikely guides. A small token from her past, hidden deep in her pocket, was a beacon. With tentative steps, she began to piece together fragments of normalcy, discovering strength in the mundane and purpose in healing. Her hands, once shackled, started crafting something new, a remedy from nature, a balm for the body and soul. It was more than skincare. It was reclamation. The world didn't know her story yet, but every bottle she created whispered freedom, resilience, and hope. Launching a brand born from trauma felt like exposing a wound to the world, raw, vulnerable, and terrifying. Yet each small success peeled back layers of doubt and fear. Early customers returned with stories of relief and rejuvenation. Word of mouth spread quietly but surely. The transformation wasn't just physical. It was a declaration that beauty could rise from pain, and strength could bloom from suffering. She guarded her past closely, revealing only fragments when necessary, but the truth infused every drop of her creation. The journey was far from over, but the fragile shoots of hope were breaking through. Celebrities and influencers began noticing the purity and power of her formulas, drawn by the story hidden behind the product. A new chapter was unfolding, one where survival became empowerment and silence transformed into a voice that couldn't be ignored. Yet, even as the brand flourished, the past whispered in the quiet moments. The sleepless nights, the flashes of doubt, the shadows lurking just beyond the light. Old contacts resurfaced, veiled threats disguised as friendly warnings. The betrayal that shattered her trust once before was a ghost refusing to rest. But now, armed with hard-earned resilience and a network of allies, she faced these shadows head-on. Each challenge forged her stronger, each confrontation a reminder of how far she had come. The fight wasn't just for survival anymore. It was for the right to write her own story without fear. The scars remained, but they no longer defined her. She was no longer a captive of her past. She was the architect of her future. The turning point came unexpectedly. A whispered tip from a reluctant source, a hidden letter slipped beneath a door. Secrets long buried began surfacing, unraveling the carefully constructed facade of safety. The betrayal was closer than she imagined, wrapped in smiles and false promises. Faced with the truth, the walls of her new life trembled. But instead of crumbling, she built barricades from the ruins, new alliances, renewed purpose, and a fierce commitment to transparency. The skincare brand became more than a business. It was a movement, a beacon for those seeking light after darkness. Every obstacle was met with courage, every setback a lesson. The journey from captivity to celebrity success was far from finished, but the path was clear. She would never be silent again. With every step forward, the world seemed to close in tighter, as whispers of doubt circled like vultures. She had grown stronger, but the scars beneath her skin still pulsed with memories no light could fully erase. Facing the shadows of betrayal required more than courage. It demanded strategy and allies. An unexpected mentor entered her life, offering guidance in navigating the labyrinth of fame and fear. "Trust is earned, not given," came the steady advice, grounding her. She learned to wear resilience like armor, balancing vulnerability with steely resolve. Meanwhile, the brand's footprint expanded globally, echoing a message of survival and hope. Yet each milestone carried a price: media scrutiny, invasive questions, and the lurking threat of old enemies ready to pounce. The path was neither straight nor safe, but she pressed on, unwilling to let darkness define her narrative again. Amid growing success, the delicate balance of personal freedom and public scrutiny began to strain her spirit. Friends became distant shadows, some fearing the spotlight, others skeptical of her transformation. But the loyal few anchored her, sharing laughter and late-night talks that reminded her of humanity beyond headlines. One day, a crisis erupted, a leaked story twisting her past into sensational lies. The media frenzy threatened to unravel everything. She faced the storm head-on, crafting a raw, heartfelt statement that cut through noise and reclaimed her truth. Her voice, once silenced, now roared with authenticity. Fans and strangers alike rallied, a wave of support sweeping away falsehoods. This moment solidified her place not just as a survivor, but as a beacon of resilience in a world hungry for genuine stories. Months passed, and the brand blossomed into a symbol of authenticity and empowerment. Her formulations grew more refined, blending ancient wisdom with modern science. She traveled widely, meeting customers whose stories mirrored fragments of her own journey. Conferences and interviews became stages not just for promotion but for advocacy, shedding light on invisible struggles behind polished surfaces. Despite exhaustion, she found purpose in lifting others as she rose. But the past still whispered, sometimes louder, testing boundaries with anonymous threats and sabotage attempts. Each attack hardened her resolve. She learned to discern friend from foe with sharper eyes. The brand's glow illuminated a path toward healing, but the shadows lingered, a constant reminder of the battle still ahead. A sudden betrayal came not from the past, but within the inner circle. A trusted partner, once a close confidant, leaked proprietary formulas and private conversations to competitors. The revelation struck like lightning, fracturing trust and threatening the brand's integrity. The woman confronted the betrayal with steely composure, severing ties and tightening security. This episode forced her to rebuild from the inside, reinforcing her team with loyal, passionate individuals who shared her vision. The experience reshaped her leadership style, more guarded but fairer, more decisive yet empathetic. It was a crucible that forged an unbreakable core, proving that survival was not just about endurance but adaptability. Each setback became a lesson, each scar a badge of hard-won wisdom. Reclaiming control meant redefining success on her terms. She expanded the brand into sustainable practices, embracing environmental responsibility as part of the mission. Collaborations with grassroots organizations brought the skincare line beyond beauty. It became a vehicle for social change. Behind the scenes, quiet moments of reflection fueled renewed creativity and balance. She learned to rest without guilt, to celebrate small victories, and forgive imperfections. The scars from her past, no longer a source of shame, but symbols of endurance and transformation. The final scene of this act is a quiet dawn in her personal sanctuary, an oasis of calm amid chaos, where she whispers a promise to herself. The journey continues, and this time she walks it fully in the light. With resilience as her compass, she stood poised at the precipice of a new era. Years of trials had sculpted a vision sharper than ever before, a legacy rooted in truth and empowerment. Public acclaim grew, but she remained grounded, wary of illusions cast by fame. Instead, she embraced the responsibility to be a voice for those still unheard. This act begins with the unveiling of her foundation, dedicated to survivors, a symbol of hope extending beyond commercial success. Our stories are threads woven into a tapestry of strength, she declares at the launch event. We transform pain into power, isolation into community. The crowd erupts in applause, the glow of flashbulbs capturing a moment that transcends individual triumph. It is a collective victory, a beacon lighting the path forward. Behind the spotlight, she cherished moments of quiet reflection and connection. Close friends and allies gathered for intimate dinners where laughter and shared stories wove bonds stronger than any public accolade. The scars etched on her soul served as reminders of the journey's depth, not limits. She learned that true strength included vulnerability, that asking for help was not weakness but courage. Together, they celebrated small joys, unsets, music, and the simple grace of being fully alive. These moments replenished her spirit, fueling the passion that drove her mission. The brand, now a global beacon, carried not just products but a promise that beauty born from resilience could change the world, one soul at a time. Yet, the past never truly disappears. It lingers like a shadow just out of sight. A final confrontation awaited, a reckoning with the person who once held her captive. The meeting was charged with tension, words unspoken heavier than those exchanged. It was not revenge she sought, but closure. With measured calm, she faced the echoes of old pain, refusing to be diminished by them again. This encounter sealed her transformation, from captive to survivor, from silence to voice. The weight lifted, she stepped into a future, unburdened, her story now fully hers to tell, a testament to the power of reclaiming identity and destiny. In the aftermath, she found freedom not just in escape, but in forgiveness of herself and others. Her brand became a sanctuary for stories of survival, healing, and hope. She championed transparency, dismantling stigma around trauma and resilience. Public appearances shifted from promotional to purposeful, centered on advocacy and education. The journey was no longer solitary. It was a movement carrying countless voices toward light. This act closes on a symbolic moment. The planting of a tree in a community garden, roots digging deep into fertile soil, reaching upward toward endless skies. It was a living emblem of growth, renewal, and legacy. Her story, etched in scars and triumph, became a beacon for generations to come. The skincare line thrived, evolving into a holistic brand embracing wellness in body, mind, and spirit. She authored a memoir, weaving her past with lessons of resilience and hope, inspiring millions worldwide. Yet amid global acclaim, she remained rooted in gratitude and humility, always aware of the fragile human threads binding us all. As the curtain falls, she stands not just as a symbol of survival but as a living testament to the transformative power of courage, authenticity, and love. The journey continues ever forward, lighting a path for others to follow out of darkness and into the light. The horizon held a new challenge, one far more complex than any before. Despite the foundation's success and the brand's reach, a growing global crisis demanded her attention, a wave of social unrest tied to environmental collapse. She realized her mission had to evolve beyond individual healing to collective action. The woman gathered her closest advisors, voices filled with urgency and hope. Our next step must be about change on a systemic scale, she insisted, eyes blazing with conviction. Long nights turned into early mornings as plans for sustainability initiatives and community empowerment programs took shape. The journey shifted from personal triumph to global responsibility, a transformative phase that tested her resilience in unfamiliar ways. A surge of public support met her new initiatives, but resistance came from unexpected corners. Corporate interests threatened by her commitment to ethical business. Smear campaigns and legal challenges surfaced, forcing her to navigate a minefield of politics and power plays. Yet, she refused to back down. Each obstacle became a rallying cry for transparency and integrity. She held town halls and forums, inviting community voices to shape the future. The woman's ability to listen deeply and lead with humility inspired a growing movement that transcended commerce. Her story became intertwined with global efforts towards sustainability, and the brand a symbol of ethical revolution in a fractured world. Amid external battles, internal growth, accelerated. She explored mindfulness and ancient healing traditions, integrating new rituals into daily life. Meditation and nature walks became vital practices, grounding her through turbulent times. The brand's products reflected these changes, infused with ingredients sourced sustainably from remote regions. Collaborations with indigenous communities honored ancestral wisdom and fostered mutual respect. This act marked a deepening of purpose, beyond profit, toward preservation of culture and earth. The woman felt a profound connection to something greater than herself, a spiritual awakening that redefined her identity as both creator and caretaker. The strain of balancing activism and leadership began to show. Exhaustion crept in like a silent shadow. The woman acknowledged her limits and embraced the power of delegation. New leaders emerged within the organization, each bringing fresh perspectives and passion. Trust deepened, and the brand flourished through collective effort. She also prioritized self-care more intentionally, carving out space for creativity and joy. Painting, music, and quiet moments by the ocean became sources of renewal. This act revealed the power of vulnerability and community in sustaining long-term change, reminding her that transformation is as much about embracing imperfection as achieving goals. As Act 4 closes, she stands at a crossroads where past battles meet future promise. A major international summit invites her to speak, a platform to unite voices for global sustainability. She prepares carefully, drawing on every lesson learned: courage, empathy, resilience. The moment is both daunting and exhilarating. Her speech calls for radical empathy and collective responsibility, echoing through halls filled with powerful leaders. The woman's presence commands respect, not through authority, but through authenticity. She leaves the stage to thunderous applause, her vision clear, a world where healing extends beyond skin deep, touching every living soul. This act ends with a quiet determination, a promise to carry the torch forward, no matter the obstacles. Years have passed, and her legacy is woven into the fabric of communities worldwide. The brand is now synonymous with integrity, healing, and innovation. She reflects on the journey, not just the milestones, but the quiet moments of doubt and discovery. Her memoir captures these layers, offering hope to readers navigating their own struggles. Public accolades are many, but she treasures most the letters from individuals transformed by her work. Each message a testament to the ripple effect of courage and authenticity. She understands that legacy is not static, it evolves with every life touched, every story shared. The act opens with her at a book signing event, eyes bright, greeting fans with warmth and humility. Despite fame, she remains deeply connected to her roots. A return visit to her childhood home reveals layers of growth and reconciliation. The once turbulent neighborhood is transforming, buoyed by community projects she helped inspire. Old friends and family gather, sharing memories and laughter, bridging gaps carved by time. The woman sees in their faces the reflection of her own evolution, a cycle of healing that reaches far beyond individual triumph. She recognizes that the journey home is never truly an arrival, but an ongoing dialogue between past and present. This scene is tender, reminding that roots nourish wings. Her global efforts continue with a focus on education and youth empowerment. She launches scholarships and mentorship programs, investing in future leaders with diverse backgrounds. Schools and workshops buzz with excitement as young voices gain platforms for expression and change. She often visits these programs, sharing stories and listening with genuine interest. These encounters fuel her hope and remind her of the infinite potential within every young mind. The brand evolves yet again, intertwining innovation with opportunity. The act portrays her as a mentor, steady, encouraging, and fiercely committed to nurturing dreams beyond her own. As the story nears its close, reflections deepen. She contemplates the fragility of time and the enduring impact of kindness. Moments of solitude in nature become more frequent and cherished. She journals often, capturing fleeting insights and gratitude. The brand has expanded into wellness retreats and holistic care, offering spaces for healing that she once sought alone. This act reveals her softer side, introspective, serene, yet vibrant. She understands that the true legacy is woven through everyday acts of compassion and courage. The scene closes with her watching a sunset, a quiet smile tracing her lips, heart full. The final moment is a celebration of journey and possibility. Surrounded by loved ones at a joyous gathering, she embraces the fullness of life, its challenges and blessings. Music fills the air. Laughter mingles with stories of resilience and hope. She raises a glass in a toast, her voice steady and radiant. To the paths we've walked, and the ones still waiting, may we always move forward with courage and heart. The camera pulls back slowly, capturing the circle of connection and light. The story ends not with a period, but with an open invitation to live fully, love deeply, and keep the flame alive. In the quiet dawn of a new season, she finds herself reflecting deeply on the winding path she has traveled. Success and struggles have intertwined like threads in a tapestry, each shaping her soul and mission. Her heart is full of gratitude for the lessons learned and the lives touched. She walks alone in a tranquil garden, sunlight filtering through leaves, breathing in the calm that comes from acceptance. Memories of earlier battles surface, tempered now by wisdom and peace. She understands that every setback was a stepping stone, every tear a cleansing rain. In this moment, she embraces renewal, a fresh beginning born from the ashes of transformation, ready to nurture growth with gentle strength. The woman reconnects with her creative roots, immersing herself in the art and music that once stirred her spirit. Her studio is a sanctuary filled with canvases and instruments, the air alive with possibility. She experiments with new mediums, blending ancient techniques with modern expression. Each brushstroke and note resonates with intention, a dialogue between past and present. Through this process, she discovers hidden parts of herself, vulnerabilities that transform into strength. Creativity becomes a balm for her soul, a way to process and celebrate the complex emotions that define her journey. This rediscovery fuels her next chapter, where healing and creation merge seamlessly. Her commitment to mentorship deepens as she initiates a global network connecting young changemakers. Virtual calls and in-person meetings blend seamlessly, creating a vibrant community bound by shared values. She listens intently to their dreams and doubts, offering wisdom tempered by experience. This circle of emerging leaders becomes a source of mutual inspiration, a testament to collective empowerment. The woman reflects on how far she has come, from solitary beginnings to this expansive web of support and innovation. The act underscores the power of interconnection, where individual growth sparks collective transformation, weaving hope across continents. Unexpected challenges arise as a personal health scare forces her to slow down and reevaluate priorities. The diagnosis is a sobering reminder of mortality, prompting a deeper commitment to self-compassion and balance. She embraces vulnerability, leaning on loved ones and professionals with grace. The brand pauses momentarily, reflecting this shift toward holistic well-being. She journals her journey through uncertainty, transforming fear into acceptance and clarity. This act explores the intimate struggle between control and surrender, reminding her, and us, that true strength often lies in the courage to ask for help and the willingness to heal from within. Recovery opens a new chapter, one marked by gentleness and renewed purpose. She adopts slower rhythms, morning yoga, herbal teas, mindful walks, integrating these into her lifestyle and brand philosophy. Her voice becomes softer, but no less determined, advocating for self-care as a revolutionary act. She collaborates with wellness experts to develop accessible programs, honoring the delicate balance of body, mind, and spirit. This act culminates in a serene scene by the ocean, symbolizing fluidity and resilience. The woman gazes at the horizon, eyes bright with quiet joy and steadfast hope, ready to face the future with renewed clarity and heart. Legacy is no longer just about what she builds, but what she inspires. She hosts an annual summit celebrating sustainability, healing, and innovation, bringing together visionaries from around the globe. The energy is electric, ideas spark, collaborations form, and dreams gain momentum. She opens the event with a keynote speech reflecting on the journey's highs and lows, the collective power of hope, and the enduring responsibility to nurture the planet. The woman's presence is magnetic, calm, yet commanding. This gathering symbolizes a culmination of efforts and a springboard into a future shaped by shared values and bold dreams. She visits a remote village where her foundation's projects have transformed lives. Children play in newly built schools, families cultivate organic gardens, and renewable energy powers homes. She walks through the community with local leaders, absorbing stories of resilience and gratitude. Her eyes reflect both pride and humility, knowing these small seeds will blossom for generations. The act highlights the tangible impact of visionary work grounded in respect and collaboration. It's a reminder that legacy is alive in people's daily lives and in the earth they steward together. Back home, she plants a tree in a peaceful garden as part of a global reforestation initiative. This simple act connects past, present, and future. She reflects on the growth not only of the sapling but within herself and those she has inspired. Her hands gently cover the soil, a symbol of nurturing and commitment. This moment crystallizes the themes of renewal, resilience, and hope threaded throughout the journey. The act closes with her looking skyward, feeling the weight and lightness of legacy, both a gift received and one given freely to the world. Her story is now shared through documentaries, podcasts, and speaking tours. Audiences resonate with her authenticity and courage. She emphasizes that every journey is unique yet interconnected by universal themes of struggle, growth, and hope. She urges listeners to find their own path to healing and impact. The act captures moments behind the scenes, quiet reflections before speeches, interactions with fans, moments of laughter and fatigue. Through these glimpses, the woman remains deeply human, an emblem of possibility rooted in grounded vulnerability. The final scene reflects on the ongoing ripple effect of her work. Stories from around the world flood in, testaments of changed lives and inspired hearts. She reads letters and messages in a cozy room, filled with personal mementos, smiling through tears of joy and humility. The future remains unwritten, but her resolve is clear, to continue nurturing seeds of change wherever they may fall. The act ends with a sunrise, symbolic of new beginnings and endless possibilities, a beacon for all who dare to dream and act with compassion.